Hey guys, we're looking at the great standard blue bossa. All right, let's get straight in. All right, this is a great little tune, blue bossa. It's a bossa, and so the main thing is we're not swinging. We're not going long, short, long, short, long, short, or quite so much if you swing a little bit more even, but you go, soft, loud, to kind of imitate that swing kind of sound. We're not going to do that so much in this one. We've got like a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that kind of a feel, right? So how about I just play the tune first, and I'll kind of improvise over it, and then I'll show you some tips and tricks on this particular song. All right, so there's a couple of little ideas there that you can take already. All right, so let's go back to the start. Now the melody is fairly straightforward, and make sure you notice that there's the 3 flats there. All right, that's a really important thing there. So you've got B flat, E flat, and A flat. There's the melody. That should be B natural there, so ignore that I didn't put a natural sign there, okay? The next one, I will change that on the download for you. All right, so what I played is correct. The notation slightly out, but I'll fix that before I put it on the website for you guys. All right, so the chords there are all good. C minor 7. The real book is where I first learned this. Actually, the new real book, and many years ago, and I think it's got something like that as a suggested bass line, as you know. So you can think of that as a. I think it just sticks with a C minor, but you could, it kind of lends itself to, kind of a G chord through there as well. So what I'm playing there, so here's what I'm doing for the C minor. I'm playing what's called a B voicing, and so which starts on the 7th. I'm a 7, 9, 3, 5. That's what I'm playing there for the C minor. Okay, can you see that? 7. So there's the 1, 7, 9, 3, 5 of the C minor, right? Now, if I go to the G chord here, what I'm actually playing, you might think, oh, that kind of sounds cool. It's a nice little open voicing here of the G7, okay? I haven't played the 7th there, but it kind of sounds kind of cool like that without the 7, I think, for this particular part. So we've got the 3, we've got the sharp 5 here and a sharp 9 here, right? So it's like an altered chord, right? And then you can drop that sharp 9 to a flat 9 if you want. That kind of works nicely, especially if you're going to play the C minor chord with the G on the top. Right, it's good. Da da da. You get that kind of thing going, right? All right, you can do that. You could do something like. People use that a lot. you could, when you're doing that kind of a rhythm, you can go, you can use like the note above or below the note that you're approaching. That can kind of work as well as a, you know, kind of a bossa sort of rhythm. I wasn't really worrying too much about that whilst I'm playing solo piano. I won't worry too much about that. I'd prefer to have the freedom to move around and do some different things than to be locked into producing the rhythm, though, you know, a lot of people love that. So anyway, here I've just got 3 notes, C, D, and E flat. I love that kind of clashing kind of sound, right? Some you might find that too much. I get away with that, right? It's kind of there, but if I do that, it hides it a little bit more if you use that voicing. Now when you go to the F minor chord, you can just bring these B flat and the D down to the A flat and the C. And there you've got F minor 9, okay? So you can go from here, if you want. Drop the E flat to a D, you've got B flat 13. Simple as that, right? So. Now that would sound great if there was a bass player playing with you. That would sound amazing, right? So that literally that's all you need to do. If you're playing that on your own, you might want to add. Now, if you can kind of you know, move around. If you can hit a bass note, come down. You can kind of do that sort of thing if you're playing on your own. You might want to have just you may not want to do too much, but you want to maybe just have a little bit more movement in here rather than just a. That can get a little bit boring, but if you're doing this, all right. So yeah, you can get some little kind of movement going through there. That can kind of sound cool. Now, one of the things that I like doing, particularly in this, probably the first 4 bars and the second lot of the, not the second lot of 4 bars, but the third lot of 4 bars, all right? So where the E flat minor to the A flat to the D flat major. So that's a 2-5-1 in D flat, right? The first one is starts off with that C minor, then kind of does a 2-5 into E flat, but we never get to the E flat, right? So then we do a 2-5-1 in C minor, which is why we have the minor 7 and the altered G chord, right? So that's why it's a little bit different, because it's a minor 2-5-1. Okay. Now, so anyway, with the C minor, the first bar, I like to play some of these minor chords in fourths. Okay, so I pick some. See, I've got some fourths here. I've got like F, B flat, E flat. It's a little bit ambiguous, and then I can kind of go up, play G, C, F. Now, what I try and do is play like 3/4, well, the two fourths, I guess. You know, 3 notes, 2/4, and just do it within the mode that works, right? The key that I'm using at the time. So at the moment, I'm using that C natural minor sound, all right? The C natural minor, which is the A. It's also called the Aeolian mode. All right, so you can use it. It's actually just E flat major scale, right? E flat major scale, but starting on C and finishing on C, right? That's what I'm using here at the start, which is the melody, okay? So if you held true to the key, that's exactly what you're doing. You're playing the C Aeolian or C natural minor, okay? So if I find some notes that kind of work, it just seems to have this ambiguous sound that kind of works here, right? So if I went to the A flat to try and build on top of that, I'm not staying within the key now. Now I'm outside of the key because I've got a D flat and I've got a G flat. The A flat's okay. All right, so see how that works? It's kind of nice there. So other ones that would work would be the B flat, okay, because then you have B flat, E flat, and A flat. So does C, F, and B flat, D, C, G. So you can go. All right. Does that kind of make sense? You can kind of use that you don't want to use that too much, I don't think, but every now and then you can do that, and you get a kind of a, I don't know, I guess a little bit of a modern sound there, McCoy Tyner kind of a sound maybe with those there. It's not so what chords, but it's built on fourths, okay? So that's kind of cool. So you got. You can do some of your soloing through that as well, right? With that kind of fourths in mind, or the thirds, here's thirds, or just going up. I literally just played the -7, C -7. I'm gonna play the F minor like that this time. So I've played a fifth down the bottom here. I've got, use my thumb on both the A flat and the B flat. All right, B flat 13. All right, now we're going to go, let's go the next 4 bars. So we've got the D -7 with the flattened 5. So here's D minor with a flattened 5, okay? That just helps us stay true to the key of C minor, so. And there I'm playing G7 flat 9. Other versions of this will have, it'll say sharp 9 and the sharp 5. It's really just a little bit altered, okay? So you could use the A flat or the B flat. Not there so much probably. Probably, you know, if you're going to do that, you'd use that kind of a voicing. So I'm going to use that there. The 7-3 sharp 5, and for that one there, sounds a little bit like with the voicing I use there. It kind of gives it a major sound. I mean, because it's E flat major chord, right? But it's based on the 7. We're just not playing that. Okay, so. That kind of works. All right, let's have a look at the next bit. E flat -7. There's a good way to do it there. Oops. Just drop the D flat to a C. There's your D flat major 9. I'll play that without the D flat. Then we got the same chords again. So I got the same chords again. So that's something you could have a crack at there. Now you can do some reharmonising of that. Now 2-5-1s are great to reharmonise with the tritones. They're really easy, especially on the dominant 7th chord. So the B flat 7, you could play an E7, right? So because it's the same kind of thing. Now we're not going to the E flat chord, so it may not work quite as well. Here's the F minor. Now if I go to an E flat, an E chord, it kind of works, doesn't it? Now here I'm going to go to a D flat chord, which is the tritone substitute. I'm just going to kind of play all of them, all the tritone, and you can make up your mind whether you want to use that or not use it, right? Here's E flat -7. All right, now D chord, or D7, is the note that works. That kind of sounds cool, doesn't it? So you go, oops, where am I? E flat -7. And so the D7. That kind of works nicely. Now I'm using an axis of a third voicing there for the D flat. All right, so there's something what you could do. You can also do that with your improvising. You actually play one of the chords, like play the chord in your left hand, but improvise what you would over that tritone. I don't know if that kind of makes sense, the tritone substitute. So you can go, here's my F minor chord. Now I'm going to play a B flat chord, but I'm going to then think E7 in my left hand, right? The tritone substitute in my left hand, and that can kind of be a way of thinking a little bit differently. Let me improvise on that a little bit. Here's the C minor, 2, 3, 4, 1. Here comes the F minor, B flat. All right, and then I went into the E7 minor. It didn't feel quite natural, but it probably works a little bit better. It works pretty well. It doesn't even feel outside at all because the G1 is already an altered chord, so it doesn't really sound that that outside there. It sounds quite inside there at all. You know, I think a lot. Anyway, okay. So most of the time you're going to be playing. Now I'm really big on 2-5-1s because a lot of jazz is 2-5-1s, just like combinations of different 2-5-1s, right? So I'm really encourage you to get into a few, maybe 2-5 licks, and just practice your 2-5-1s over and over again. Whether it's practicing the chords 2-5-1s, practicing soloing over the 2-5-1s, whether you're using licks or not using licks, just practicing with the 2-5-1s because that's what you're going to be doing in so much of your jazz playing, right? Now you're in C minor for the beginning. All right, and then you can stay pretty much in that key because the 2-5 is a 2-5 going into E flat, right? So that keeps us in the same key. Now you can start thinking. You can start thinking some of your licks and think F minor, B flat 7, but so level 1 is to just worry about that as the first bit is E flat major, right? The first line is E flat major. The second line is a little bit more traditional C minor. What I mean by that is it's the more what we call the harmonic minor, right? The C harmonic minor. So the C natural minor is just the 6th mode of the major scale. The C harmonic minor, which is the one where you probably learnt in classical piano playing, if you did a little bit of that, is where we raise the 7th note. So this is my 6th note, here's the 7th note, which is the B flat. I'm going to raise it to the B, okay? All right, so that's, right, there's the B, right, in the melody. And when you're playing the G chord, you can see why we want the B. But once we hit the C minor, go back to using the B flat, okay? Go straight back to using the B flat. Okay, so the first 4 bars, you're in the key of E flat or C minor, A all in, right? And then the next 2 bars, you're in C harmonic minor, but you might want to still think of it like that. Now, a great way to play over G7 flat 9 is to use a what do I call it? What do I call it? It's the I've forgotten what it's called. I will write it in the description. I can't believe I've forgotten. There's the C1. Here's the F1. There's only 3 of them, and here is our G. All right. It's sometimes called half whole. It's because you're going a semitone and then a tone, right? Or half a step and a whole step. Half a step, whole step, half step, a whole step, half step, whole step, half step. Now, just like, and there's one chromatic scale, right? Right, because no matter where you start, it's the same scale, right? There's 2 whole tone scales, for example, and there's 3 of these ones, all right? So there's, I learnt originally the C version of it. All right, so, and the F version, and they're the fingerings that I kind of worked with, and the G version of it, okay? So you've got, you can use that if you want. I mean, you don't have to kind of use that scale. Just sometimes I kind of use that scale. It kind of sounds cool, you know. So that's something you can use there. All right, now the E flat minor 7 to the A flat 7 to the D flat major 7 is all in the key of D flat major. And it might be helpful for you to think of it that way rather than E flat minor to A flat 7. If you can think E flat minor to A flat 7 and then D flat, that's great too. But D flat major 7 is a way you can think of it the whole way through. Now, the cool thing about that is it's all the black notes. So you literally could probably get away with going. You can kind of get away with that. When you get to the D flat major 7, it doesn't work quite as well because the guide tone is the F and also the C. All right, so it's sort of like it wants to drop to that F there, doesn't it? You know. So, but anyway, there's your D flat major scale, and of course the last is the same as well. So maybe I'll give you a couple of exercises to work on. All right. So the first one I want maybe try this to practice some soloing over. Okay. Start off like that, as in like a 1, a 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2. Okay. Start off with the arpeggio, and then why don't you come down in thirds. All right. That kind of thing, right? So 1 and 2 and 3. All right, I'm swinging there by accident. All right, so let's go back to the bloss. I feel 1, 2, 2, 3, and 4. Now, when I say go down thirds, I don't mean like exactly go down thirds, but you can if you want to. But that's how you can kind of say, in your mind, okay, I can go down thirds, I can go up in arpeggio, I can come down in a scale, I can go up in intervals of fourths. Let's say we do intervals of fourth from the D minor, G7, and C minor, and just kind of keep that going, right? So start here, and then just go up the notes of the scale that that works. And then just keep going. And then you might want to change what you're doing there. Let's put that all together, and this is something that you can get 1 and 2 and 4 and 2. All right. Come down when you just do that, just come down, literally just come down that scale, because it's one of those scales you don't know probably as well. So we'll just come straight down. And then just something like that, finish on the guide tone. And then maybe some thirds. All right, so there's a couple of ideas that will get you started doing something of some kind of improvising over the top of that. All right, and you can use that, of course, all the time. All right, guys, all the best. I'll catch you again soon for another tutorial. And hey, subscribe. Let us know what songs you would like in the future for me to do a tutorial on, or if there's anything in particular that you would like a tutorial on. I'm more than happy to try and do something. Obviously, I want to serve you guys the best way that I can. So by doing something that I know that you want is a great way for me to do that. All right, see you guys. Catch you soon.